friends, in today's video I'm giving my youngest son's room a thorough cleaning and a necessary makeover. It's been a whole year today since we moved into our house, and it's time to start making all these plain rooms our own. I scrubbed the walls and the rug, I cleaned the windows and the floors, I even painted his existing dresser to save myself a little moolah. Then we add new bedding, shelving, rug, and a cube organizer to give him a good foundation. Then I bring in lots of wood and metal accents to turn his boring room into a teenage boy's dream space. So pop my video on your TV, tablet, or phone and clean along with me, or sit back and relax with your favorite drink and stockpile this cleaning motivation for future use. Hope you enjoy. Don't forget to like my video, comment below, subscribe to my channel, and click that bell notification for more inspiring motivational videos. Let's be friends on Instagram too. You can find me at Home with Elizabeth. I'm doing some prepping. Can we appreciate the filth in my youngest son's room? Like, what is even in there? What even is that? Welcome, friends. So I later found out that that was actually some type of hot chocolate concoction that was spilled in his dresser. All right, friends, this video makeover took a little longer than my oldest son's because I had to prep some items for painting, and I wanted to make sure they were completely dry before we put this room together. I decided to paint his coat rack and his dresser. So he's had this dresser for years. I'm gonna say he's probably had it at least maybe 10 to 12 years. It was $50 at Walmart. It was the perfect quote-unquote toddler dresser because it was plastic. You know, they could draw on it, but they couldn't, like, it would like wash right off. They couldn't really break it. So I decided that he of course needed a little bit of an updated dresser. So I decided to get some spray paint to paint this to match his room. So I bought 2 cans of that Rust-Oleum from Lowe's. They were $5.98 a piece, and I used exactly 2 cans. And I think his dresser turned out beautifully. He actually loves it. He's like, Mom, you can't even tell that it was a different color. He's like, it matches the room perfectly now. So that's what we're doing this day. I need to show you what I found in his dresser while I was vacuuming it. I wonder how long this has been in there. Let's see, there's 2. Oh, 3. 4. I am going to finish scrubbing this dresser, and then we're actually going to move into the garage because the sun is going to move back here on my back patio. But while I'm scrubbing this dresser and painting it, I want to welcome you back to my channel. If you're new around here, my name's Elizabeth. I'm a 51-year-old wife and stay-at-home mom to 7 adult/teenage children. I have 2 girls aged 26 and 23, although my oldest does turn 27 this month. I have 3 boys aged 20, 17, and 15. I also have 2 bonus boys, 16-year-old twins. They're my nephews that I got custody of a few years ago. On my channel, you're going to find lots of cleaning motivation and cleaning inspiration. You're going to find a little bit of organization, decluttering, and even a bit of decorating. But what you're going to find lots and lots of is real life. I like to keep it very real here on my channel and share my perfectly imperfect life with you all. I strive to help others not feel so alone in this world and to help them realize that the best way to live life as is their most perfectly imperfect self also. If this sounds like content you would enjoy watching, make sure you subscribe to my channel because I would love to have you join my community. Luckily, these drawer fronts popped off that dresser, so I only had to paint those. I didn't have to paint the whole drawers. So I got them painted with 1 coat, and then I got a 2nd coat on them and the coat rack, and now we're giving this dresser a 1st coat. Like I said, I drug it into the garage here because the sun was like full in my backyard. And one thing I remember from My oldest son's room is when we were painting and it was in the sun, it dried way too quick and dried wonky. And I will mention, both of my nephews have dressers like this, so see, I'm opening the second can. And I am probably gonna paint them too, depending on the color scheme they go with their room. If they go with like a green or a blue, I might not paint them. I just don't know. It worked out so well, and it was like 12 bucks to paint it. I mean, I bought myself a new dresser and my middle son a new dresser when we moved into this house, and the cheapest ones I found from Walmart were like $130. This is a different day, as you can see. We are getting my son's new sheets in the washer. I paid about $20 for these sheets. Now, friends, you're gonna notice if you read the description that I spent a little more on my son's room. I spent just over $500. But we had to buy a new rug, and when we get to the rug later in this video, I'll explain why. And I did buy him a little better sheet quality and comforter quality, because he still lives here full time and his stuff is going to get washed more regularly than the stuff in my older son's room. He's only going to use it for the summer, and then after he moves out, it's only going to be used as like a guest bedroom. You know, my youngest son still lives here full time, and it's going to get washed at least once a week. So I did buy him a little more expensive, quote unquote, better quality sheets and a quilt. So we're just getting this room emptied so that we can start the deep/spring cleaning. And that is the exasperated look of a mama who opens her son's closet door and finds piles upon piles of dirty clothes. Yee. But as I was saying, I spent a little more on my son's room. I spent a little over $500. It was $502.64. And that's because we bought a rug. The rug was over almost $190. So if you subtract that from my total, I spent about $300 on his room too. The sheets are from Walmart, their Mainstay brand. They were about 20 bucks. I think they were like $19.97. As I said, the paint is Rust-Oleum from Lowe's. It was $5.98 for each can. And friends, I will have the complete listing of everything I bought with links down in the description, but I am going to try and throw the prices in the video here. All right, so I've grabbed my Mrs. Meyer's all-purpose cleaner in the mint scent just so we could get his bed dusted, and I am going to take it out of the room. Now friends, I bought him this bed last summer, so I did not include it in the room makeover because I didn't buy the room makeover, but I did get it from Amazon and it was really reasonable. So let me know if you want the link. He loves it, and it's good quality. It is sturdy. So let me know if you want that link. So we are just getting this rug vacuumed. And so friends, this whole time, you know, we've been planning to keep this rug. It's not that old. It's probably 6 years old, maybe not even that old. It was a living room rug for a little bit, and then it was in the twins' room at our old place. And then once we moved here to this house, it's been in Callum's room. We liked it. It's still in good quality until I started carpet scrubbing it. And when I flip it over to vacuum underneath it, friends, it was really falling apart. And then once I started using my carpet cleaner on it, it must have had some type of dried stains in it because it reeked. When we were down on the floor putting his little cube organizer together, like we were almost vomiting. That's how terrible it smelled. spots. Right here I noticed, once I flipped that back, I noticed how the backing was really, really falling apart. And I'm going to show you some close-ups of it too. But look at the back of that rug. I didn't really realize it was that bad. But when we were down there, it smelled horrible. And so we stopped right after we put his organizing cube together, and we went to Lowe's and picked out a new rug. So we are just seeing, look how horrible that backing was. Like I couldn't keep that in his room. It would ruin our floors. So that's why there was the unexpected expense of the rug. But that's okay, friends. It's what you do when you have kids. You find the way to, get the stuff they need. And I will tell you that if I didn't have the money to buy the new rug, I probably would have just not put a rug in this room. It would have been so much better to just not have the rug. And I'm showing you here how well this new vacuum of mine is kind of picking things up. Today, as I'm doing this voiceover, I was testing it out up here on my living room. It's doing good. I believe around May 8th, I think, is going to be, maybe not, it might be the next Monday after that, is kind of going to be my review of this vacuum. I have my Tyneco out. We're getting this floor mopped. It actually was dead, and so you're going to watch me use my O-Cedar again to mop the floor. But we've started scrubbing these walls, and I am just using a tiny bit of powder Tide. And friends, his mop water from the walls is a little bit dirtier than my oldest son's, but you got to remember, he's lived in this room every day for a year, whereas my oldest son had only lived in his room, what did we decide, maybe 3 months? So his wall water is a little dirtier because obviously his wall gets touched way more than my oldest son's. All right, so I finished one side of the room. Now we're gonna get this futon out of the room, which a little sneak peek, it does not come back into this room. My son did not want it, so we did not make him put it back in here. I believe we're going to store it in our garage until perhaps one of our other older kids maybe moves into an apartment or maybe lives off campus, and if they want it, they can take it. All right, I just realized this actually has 3 speeds. So when you turn it on, I always thought it went on to high. And so then I always push the button with the small fan to put it to low. But actually, when you turn it on, it's on medium. And so you push the big fan to go to high, and then the small fan to go to low. So you turn it on. All right, I'm gonna turn it on and I'm gonna mute it, but I'm gonna show you this, and then when I edit the video, I'll do a voiceover. When you turn it on, that's medium. And I'm going to push the big circle and watch the thing go up. See, that's high. And I'm gonna push the small fan once, and it goes to medium, and then push it twice, the small fan, and it goes to low. So there, it does have 3 levels. So I was mistaken when I did my unboxing of this video. Yeah, so it does have 3 suck levels. But as I was saying with that futon, we have the room to store it, so I'm going to, because it's still in great shape. It's like a perfect piece of furniture for young adults just starting out. And like I said, I have the room, I'm gonna store it. my son tried to put something on his wall and he used scrapbooking things. I'm gonna try and get them off without hopefully peeling paint off. So another thing I had to do is I didn't know that I didn't have any more of this spackle left. So I had ordered his paint online so I could just drive up, because as you can see, you know, I'm in play clothes and messy hair. Well, I actually had to go into Lowe's looking like this and get myself some spackle. So again, that's another reason why this room took a little longer, is gotta wait for that to dry, gotta sand it and stuff like that. It dried pretty quick, so it wasn't too bad. And thankfully, the one set of the molding kind of goes right over it, so you really can't even see anything. Like, you can't even see that it was repaired. So I lucked out so well with that. I am going to need to paint his room, the white walls, because he has several spots on his walls where like he has stuck other things and it's peeled it off. He had a couple big dark scuffs that wouldn't come off, but we're going to save that for another time, when I get all the rest of the rooms done. At least the bare minimums in the rooms done. It was finally dry. I just got it sanded. We're just using this new vacuum to clean up all the dust. And I love that brush, the nozzle brush that went on it. It worked so well on the baseboards. All right, so we are starting to measure things out so we can get this molding up. And Callum was here to help me a little bit, but this was after school and he was only home for a little bit and he had to go to lacrosse practice. But later in the video, he does come in and he helps me a ton when we're getting stuff back in his room and getting it set up and stuff like that. So again, he was a giant help, and I loved spending the time with him. So there, see it was dirty. You could tell that it was a little brown, but it was not as dirty as some of my walls. All right, so I'm using the same molding in his room as I used in my oldest son room. I got this from Amazon. It's called NeatiEase Peel and Stick Molding. It was $55 for 6 frames. That's 24 pieces. Now, I only use the 3 largest frames because our ceilings are only 7 foot here in the basement, so I didn't have enough room to put the bottom row of frames, but I'm gonna use those. So I have 3 from my oldest son's room and 3 from my youngest son's room. I'm going to use those in our hallway upstairs. So I'm gonna get my full money's worth out. And I don't know if I said this, but it was $55 for the 6 frames, so pretty reasonable. And of course, I talked about in my oldest son's room how once I figured out how to do it this way by just sticking it and peeling it at the same time, it went so easier. Friends, I got his 3 up in no time. Like, it was like zip, zip, zip. They were all 3 up and I could get to start painting. All right, all 3 done. We're gonna get this paint drape down so that I can get the paint filled up in my little hand bucket so we can start painting all these edges. Friends, I will tell you, if you want to do a wall like this or any other type of wall that has accent type things that stick out, be prepared that you're going to have to hand paint around all these edges. So that's kind of crappy. Don't get me wrong. I love the way it looks, but it is a pain in the neck to hand paint all these edges, especially if you hate to paint. Now, if you notice, this is different paint. The color that my youngest son chose was actually a Sherwin-Williams color. It's called Sherwin-Williams Tinsmith. So I actually had to get the Sherwin-Williams paint, and it's a little bit more expensive than the Valspar, almost $20 more. So it was actually $63, where I only paid like $43 for the Valspar. It is what it is, friends. You know, I gave my son free reign, what he wanted, and this is what he wanted, so that's what we're doing. So we're just down here on this floor and we are painting away. And I'll tell you, friends, I did not use tape again in this room, and I felt even better when I was painting. Like, I didn't make as many quote-unquote mistakes as I did in my oldest son's room. So I'm probably not going to use tape again to edge. I'm only going to use tape if I'm using it for a design. Say that I felt more confident painting the edges in here, and like, because some things I learned from painting him in my older son's room, it did feel like it went a little quicker when I was painting like these moldings. I will tell you though, we're gonna come on here in a minute or so to do the second coat after like I shampoo this rug. I will tell you, friends, that, you know, we're in the middle of spring sports, and like, we have something at least 4 times a week. So again, we had a lacrosse game to go to, and it was away, but it was an early game. It started at 4, and I thought, oh, I can come home and do the second coat like I did in my older son's room. Like, I did the first coat, shampooed the rugs, put the fans in here, put the dehumidifier in here. I'm like, go to the lacrosse game. When I get home, everything will be dry and I'll be able to paint. Well, I did not paint. I was whooped. I had like walked 20,000 steps this day, and I came home from the lacrosse game and just sat there. So I told myself the next day I'd get up early. It was going to be a Saturday. I normally sleep in. I'm like, I'll get up early and get this second coat on so that we can get the rest of this room moving. Hoo-wee. So wait till you see me in those clips. I'm looking rough, friends. It is Elizabeth in her natural habitat. This is before we knew that the rug was stankin'. I went ahead and cleaned it anyways. I only show you this little part right here, and then I do show you all 3 water pours. Friends, the water was disgusting. So I'm actually kind of glad that the smell came out, because he just needed a new rug. Like, look at that water. Oh, and that's just the first pour where like he didn't walk a lot, and then second and third, oh, it was not good, friends. So I'm just showing you cleaning my carpet cleaner here real quick. And so the next clip coming up is the next morning, a Saturday morning, and the bed head is real, friends. Like, you can see that I slept like in my braid, and I didn't even comb my hair. I threw on my paint clothes and came down here to get this done. And I was really rocking the bed head. It's great, friends. It's great. Like, this is real life. And like, I don't care if people see me like this. Like, this is me. This is what I do for my kids. I'm going to get up at 7 a.m. and throw on my paint clothes and not clean my hair, not comb my hair, and get to painting. Right there, friends. That's like the best shot right there of the bed head. Oh, it's so funny. Last night when I was editing this and I showed my husband, we were laughing so hard. So hard. It's great. So again, as with my older son's room, this second coat of paint went on so much quicker, so much easier. I got it knocked out in no time. All right, this is much later this Saturday afternoon. As you can see, I have new clothes on because we went grocery shopping. I actually combed my hair. I just got his cover on his electrical outlet put back on, and we are starting to put this shelf together. He did most of it. I just kind of read the directions and handed him what he needed. And again, this is where we discovered that the smell was permeating from this rug, and we decided we need to do something about it. Now this is the 6 cube organizer from Walmart. They actually carry it in the store. I actually ordered it so I didn't have to like carry it out to my car and stuff like that. It runs about $28.99. It's actually, I think it's cheaper if you buy it online than if you buy it in the store. And then I ordered the fabric like cubes that go in it. I ordered a 4-pack even though we only used 3, and they were about, I want to say like $14 I think I got them for when I ordered them online, like $14.99 maybe like $14.96, you know, those weird numbers with Walmart. Tell you friends, I didn't film it, but we changed his room around so many times. It was funny. Like we're gonna bring everything in on top of this rug, and then we decide that we just need to go buy a new rug, and so we have to take everything out again, and then it comes back in and it's different. It's just funny, friends. It was comical, but you know what? It was quality time spent with my kid, and he's probably gonna remember this always. So here are those. They're like a flannel material that go in his cubes. I did this slow, friends, because we've left this on for a year because I thought it was going to be hard to take off. It was like just a cling, like it didn't even leave anything on the window. So yeah, that was there for a year for no reason. So we're getting ready to start bringing stuff in this room, and I realized that I did not clean this window, so we're just getting it cleaned, and I'm getting the trim around it clean. And the outside of that's going to stay dirty, friends, just because of the way it's below ground level. So I'm not worrying about it. It's just, that is what it is. But I am getting the outside cleaned. He had lots of fingerprints because he used to sit stuff in this windowsill, and it was just kind of really roughed up. So here we are, we're bringing stuff in, the bed, the mattresses. As I make the bed, he is going to like bring his computer setup in and get it all set up. I got a tension rod just like my older son's room. This one, I only need a smaller one for his window, so this one was less than $3. The shears, again, I've had them. I bought tons when we moved in here because I didn't know how full I wanted them on my curtains. So I'd already bought the shears, and I thought I was going to hem them. I'll actually tell you this a little later in the video too. I thought I was going to hem them, but once I got them up, I like that they're a little longer. Like his window is only about 45 inches in length, and these shears are 63. I kind of like how they hang down below the window. I think it looks nice. So here we are, we're kind of switching around, just trying to see what's going to be the best for him. The other 11 give something from nothing. Live lessons come 1 in a dozen. The other 11 give something from nothing. Life changes just open the door. One thing's certain, I'll always be yours. Now I do mention this when I do the tour of the room at the end, but like his desk and his chair and his like computer monitor, all that stuff he had before. Like my kids are very good about asking for big items for birthdays or Christmas. Like they don't mind only getting like 2 or 3 gifts at Christmas if they're big things. So like I didn't include those because those were gifts and stuff like that. So here's how the one room we thought it was going to turn out, because he was afraid to put it on the other side because of the way the glare from the window was going to hit his computer monitor. But then it was weird with the studs near that window, so we end up actually flipping the whole room. You're going to see towards the end. So here's where we are back from the rug. We're just kind of deciding which way he's going to lay it, either horizontally or vertically. Now this is from Lowe's. It's an Origin 21 brands, and it's 8 by 10. It's a rectangle, and it is machine washable. I don't know if I'll ever machine wash it. I might have to, because the white fabric is raised above the gray, so if it gets a stain in it, I don't know if I'll be able to like carpet clean it. And here's where we thought we were going to put it back this way. We didn't realize that we had to switch it until my husband comes in to start putting the shelves up. But I paid $189.98 for that rug. So like I said, if I wouldn't have had to buy the rug, I would have been just over the $300. So about the same as my oldest son, but he needed this rug desperately, so we bought it. Here I'm going to make his bed. I already told you about his sheets. They're from Walmart. I paid about 20 bucks for them. His comforter is also from Walmart. I gave you a little sneak peek of it. I paid almost $40 for it. Again, his stuff was a little more expensive because it's going to get washed more often. And I ended up buying him the full and queen size also, so when he transitions to a full size bed, if he wants to in a few years, it will fit. Of course, you saw him bring the dresser, and look how nice the dresser looks in the room. Like, it matches perfectly. And we lucked out that his handles were a light gray. So exciting. Now, I did not get my boys Shams, but I did buy them an accent pillow. This is like a faux leather. It's from Amazon, and that embroidery is like it's raised. I got a 2-pack for $12.99. So Callum got one, and then I did put one in Liam's room also. I thought they were like the perfect touch, that it gives me a little bit of decorations, but it's very masculine because it's like leather. He loves them. Like, when I showed it to him, he was like, awesome. All right, so hubby's coming in, and now we're getting up this coat rack and the shelves. The coat rack is from Walmart. Again, I ordered it for my oldest son's room. It was a 2-pack. We paid like $20 for it. So again, $10 was spent on his room and $10 was spent here on Callum's room. But I did paint his. Callum wanted his painted, and I do gotta say I like it painted against that white board. Here's the shelves. Again, they're from Amazon. They're floating shelves. It was a 3-pack for like $33. They have that nice metal brackets. They're very masculine looking. All right, here's my youngest son's room. And excuse my washer, I always have laundry going. I'm gonna actually close the door. He just has his mirror behind his door. I need to get the brackets that they sell at Walmart to put that on his wall for him. I ended up, as you saw, painting his coat rack, and I actually like it so much more. We did decide not to put a shelf above his, but I do like that. So he can come in, he hangs gym bags. This is gonna go on the wall, but I do kind of like it right there for now. Come in and set his book bag on his shelf here. His little containers just, they have his stuff in it. Come over, you saw I painted his dresser. That is a great way to save money, friends. I was able to buy just some spray paint and match his dresser to his room without spending a ton of money. And then here's his little dish he ended up with. His shelves. I got him the same containers. He always has change, so I ended up buying him this little travel friend from Walmart. I got him a little different plant too with some color. That's just an award. And instead of trying to do all the fancy editing to cover his school and our last name, I just turned it around, but it doesn't look like that. We got this made at the beach years and years and years ago. He loves it. You saw his tension rod I put up. Again, I didn't spend anything on these curtains. I ordered tons of shears when we first moved into this house, and I had extras, so I saved money that way. And I thought I was gonna have to hem them, but I actually like them. Let me sit back. I actually like them a little longer. I don't hate it. And of course, I explained to you how we had to get him a new rug. He loves it. There was actually another one that I thought he might like better, but he liked this one, so I let him pick it. And his bedding. Shh, don't tell anyone. Don't tell him that I showed you his rhino. He's had that since he was like 2. The cool leather pillows. And then his little gaming setup. He actually had these desks, as I said before, these desks and chairs. He got them as Christmas gifts. Same with the monitors. My kids are good like that about big purchases. And then here's what we did with his third shelf. This is kind of what I wanted to do in my older son's room, but they didn't think they would like it, but Callum loves it. And so I put his light on there that I got at the Dollar Tree. And then he has his alarm clock and his Google Home. Now he has not decided yet if he wants me to paint his shelves. We've kind of left it right now for him. But like they just sit on these things, so they're easy to take on and off without having to mess with any type of hardware or brackets. And then of course his wall. He loves it. I think it's a little too light, but again, Mama's opinion doesn't really matter since it's baby boy's room. So that's his finished room, friends. And of course, is it even a teenager's room if he doesn't have a trash can full of snacks? What do I got here? The fig bars I bought for everyone, Pop-Tarts. Oh, goodness sakes. All right, friends, if you could do me a favor and like this video. Again, I tell you, it just lets YouTube know that you like this. It lets YouTube know to push it out there to other people who might like this content. If you feel like leave me a comment, I would love it. I love connecting with you all in the comment section. And if you haven't subscribed yet, why the heck not? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and you'll never miss another one of my videos. I upload every Monday and Thursday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And friends, I'll see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.